What up, everybody? Hello. Letter K, thank you so much. You guys like the song? I made it. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It's been a bit. I appreciate y'all coming by. Morgan, thank you for the gifted sub. Ali, thank you for the 29 months. Amelia with the 14 months. It's 4:30 in the morning. Bummer. Sucks for you. You better stay here. Letter K with the 10 gifted subs. Savior Sage with the brand new tier 1. Emma Ann with the 15 months. Welcome back. Battleborn Queenie, thank you for the 19 months and welcome back as well. Subi Locker, thank you for the 15 months. All right, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I got through a decent amount before I ran a Beth. Thank you for the 51 months. Long time. Appreciate it. Morgan Gamer with the 7 months. Nikki the Duck with the 51 months as well. Abs Kadabs with the 14 months. Your music scared me. Bah! Vilka with the 34 months. Jordan Woot with the 13 months. Sinister, 13 months as well. Star with the 4. DC with the 4. Thank you guys very much for all the subs and resubs. Morgan Gamer with the 5 gifted subs. W. Alexis the Honeybee with the 67 months. Mads is here, 26 months. Factor with the 48 months. And that's Sinister Type with the 500 bits. Anonymous gifted a sub to Azure Focus. Thank you very much. They said they couldn't sub and they were sad about it. So W, Cosmic Aries, thank you for the 18 months. And once again, Letter K, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, believe it or not, I lost a lot of subs. But that makes sense because it's been about a month since I've streamed. Guys, welcome back. March, thank you for the 300 gay-ass bits. I appreciate that shit. Sinister Type, thank you for the gay-ass bits as well. Did you guys like the song? W song, sweet. You guys like the hat? Custom, a Kryoz custom. I found another hat, then I hot glued this part on, the black part, and then I sewed it. Even though I don't know if the actual thread does a lot, but you know, it's so cool. It was alright. Look, Mads, I know you just hate men, so you can't compliment them. So I take you saying it's alright as a really good compliment. Thank you. How long did it take? I don't know. Not super long. I've like worked on it here and there between just like whenever I get bored, I hop in there a little bit, see what it is. I think I can check how long it's taken. I forgot how to do that though. Project info? 12 hours? That doesn't seem completely accurate. To be fair, I have also just left my FL open a couple of months. Jojo, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Did you fix your camera mount? What do you think? Yeah. Is this the first stream with the new angle? Maybe it is. I didn't even think about that. Awesome. No more shaky cam. I like this angle better anyways. It feels more angle. It is really dark in here though. Hold on. Let me do something real quick, yes? Let me get a little bit of better lighting on my face. Hold on. I'll thank you for the subs in a second. Yo, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, Linoka. I don't know. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted subs, guys. If you got gifted a sub at all by anybody, you better say thank you. Otherwise, you will get shot in the back of the head. Who's going to do it? I don't know. You can't see them. Plus, you'll be dead anyways. Love the chokers. None of these are really chokers. They're just necklaces. It's just a lot of necklace. I have one choker that I wear. It's not really a choker, and I barely wear it because it it's fine for a little bit. Then I feel like it gets like annoying. Like I feel like sometimes say I put a choker on, then when I do something that gets me sweaty, then it gets uncomfortable. It's like the same thing with rings. Like I put rings on, then I'm just like I want to do a couple pull-ups randomly, and then I can't with rings, so then I take the rings off. So I think I have to make myself uncomfortable in order to better myself, which is I feel like what a lot of people would really just say naturally anyways. It's sometimes bettering yourself is uncomfortable. Or something. You should go emo. You know, I saw a reel today and I was like, it was about putting on an eyeliner, and I was like, I feel like I would crush it with eyeliner, low-key. It's just the biggest issue is I am not good at getting things close to my eye. Sinister Type, thanks for gifting the sub. Axel. Money Move with the 3 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Boske with the 26 months. Thank you very much. You look so good. Oh, I know it. That's not what I'm worried about. Welcome. Hey, that's on the wrong speakers. No sitting still. This. Oh, excuse us. That was a group burp, eh? Oh. So far, how's everyone's day been? I know it's not super late in the day. It's only a measly 3:41 p.m., depending on time zone, because those do exist, unfortunately. We are at a level 6 hype train, really close to level 7. I think it'd be awesome if my first return stream, we could get a little level 10. I went on a walk this morning. I haven't changed clothes, so I probably stink. Fuck. Although I do kind of want to change my pants because I bought these pants, but then I wore them once and they're all right. But I think they need a baggier long shirt in order to really hit the vibe. But I don't have a baggy shirt on, and it deadass just made my legs look so chunky. It pissed me off. Because my torso gets chunky, my legs, even when I was 240, I had skinny ass legs. Go take a shower? Boske, thank you for the normal straight bits. What the fuck? Thank you for the 600 of them, too. We are now at level 7 hype trade. Thank you very much. I'll take a shower after I'm done streaming. Deal? Shake on it? Here, I got a D20. 10 or above, I shower after stream. If it's a 5 or lower, I don't. Okay, it's a 12. I'll shower after stream. You're lucky. I didn't want to take my hat off because I was wearing a hat too. It's probably so greasy. We'll keep it on. Yo, Boske with the gay bits. Thank you very much. 500 gay bits. I appreciate it. Don't look. There we go. Perfectly covered it. You couldn't even see it. I do need a shower though. What about 5 to 10? 5 to 10, I kill myself. But it didn't hit though, so we're okay. Is the mullet back? Not really. It's just... It's all over the same length. It's just longer hair back there type shit. I don't know if you guys can see it. Morgan Gamer with the 1,000 gay ass bits. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 1,000 super gay bits. It is Pride after all, so they have to be gay bits. Rolled again. Okay, 1 to 18, I kill myself. Shit. Beep, 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 beep. I had to kill myself. I got an 8, by the way. Bummer. Cool. How's life? It's been all right. Coming back from Japan was a crazy, I was on such a shitty sleep schedule there for a while, but it's finally mostly fixed. So that's good. Still deal with the depression of it, still sad. Feels like it's still things are still returning to normal in a way. Unknown Dorothy, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. Vattel with the 95 months. Long time. Hello from Sweden. Tien Morse Padig, thank you so much. I don't know what that means. Hopefully it was racist. Post-trip depression is real. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's always like a little like sadness after a trip, but like something about coming from like Japan where everything was just so damn convenient, you know, it's tough. Hopefully it was racist. Yeah, that's what I said. I might try to go again soon. Sooner than later, truly. Guys, by the way, I have no idea what my plan is today. I don't know what I'm going to do. I kind of just decided to stream because I was slightly bored. And I was like, well, it's been a bit. I probably should. You keep lagging? Tough. Do you ever know? It's a fair point, actually. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. Yo, Patches 27 with the 98 months. Holy shit, we're close to our first 100-month subs, I think. We're getting up there. We're getting real fucking close. Wowzers. Have you been painting recently? Not really. I do want to get back into it. I mean, I did start painting some. My dresser in my room, I took all the drawers out and painted the front of them, and I might just like spray and just do some silly shit on it. But I haven't done like any like actual painting on like canvas. So, I do have some paint on my fingers right now. But yeah, we'll see. Is there any fun games I could play? What's on my wish list right now? You're gonna sell your paintings? No. What the fuck would I do that? The fuck? Why can't I view my wish list? I think my Steam's broken. Fuck, I gotta relog. Hype train is over. You guys let it die. Just like you guys are gonna let me die. GG's. You like soda? That's awesome. Y'all need to play more Lethal Company? Maybe. Printer has been attained. Yeah, dude, my printer fucking ran out of toner recently. I was like, what the fuck? I bought more. I just haven't replaced it. Oh well. Same for Italy? Bullshit. It's bullshit, dude. I deserve your money. Alright. Is my wish. There we go. My wish is working now. A normal train game. What is this about? I kill crying babies. That's awesome. I have to play that. I fucking died. I don't know where that came from. I get paid Fridays. Give me a second. Okay, deal. What was I gonna look up? Creature Kitchen? Creepy Cozy Cooking Simulator, where you befriend local wildlife and feed them their favorite snacks. That sounds kind of. Oh wait, this is already on my wish list. What the fuck? I guess I saw this already and I was like, yeah, that'd be a vibe. Black Wolf Diamond, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I'm supposed to be saving to go to Bahamas in November. Ooh, that'd be fun. Can you guys like stop traveling so I can have your money? Please. I'm just kidding. I got enough money. Just watch like more of my videos. Like, watch videos twice or something, you know what I mean? That way you don't actually have to pay me, and it's just like, but you still earn me money type shit. Genius. Go to Dominican again? Sick. You do seem like an Alaska person, Vad. I don't know why. You seem like the type of person to go to Alaska a lot. Always first in your videos? W. I want to go somewhere where I can get a tan. Because I'm pale as shit. I haven't been tan in decades. Actually, that might be true. I said that as like an over-exaggeration, but I actually think that's true. Guys, I'm thirsty. I might go grab a drink. Thoughts? Maybe go outside? I did. I've gone on like 5 walks, but like walks don't really get you tan. You know what I mean? I say 5 walks like it's a lot, but what I meant to say is I've gone like 5 walks in the past like week. Hydrate? You know what's crazy? I had a water down here. I have this. It's almost empty though. I grabbed this on my walk today. All gone. It's crazy that I missed my trash can. That's not even a foot away. Tough. Guys, everyone, if you're drunk, what? I was reading something. Anyways, everyone, if you're thirsty, go get a drink. Be back. Drink time. Everyone get a drink. I might change my pants, too. You guys want to see a creepy light I have? Yo, anonymous, thanks for gifted us up to Doko Plague. Sometimes I accidentally turn that light on at night. I'm just like, oh, I get scared a little bit. What else? Oh yeah, I got this shirt in Japan. You guys like it? Get it because it's like Akira. Also got this band the other day, so I can do some forearm exercises, or maybe some tricep. Ow! It hit my back. What was my favorite part of what, Japan? All the 7-Elevens. The 7-Elevens, the Family Mart, the Lawsons. How easy it was to go in there and just get some food. Shit was awesome. I was doing that earlier. Yeah, I just be hitting some forearm shit sometimes. Sometimes I'd be hitting my desk too. Big strong man. Not really. I want to have I want to be like Popeye forearms and just no biceps. That's my end goal. But I do like forearms because they're easy. Oops. Baby No Money misses me. He told you? Aw. It has been a bit since I've seen him. I kind of miss him too. Go throw a punch and break your arm? Okay. Nah, I used to have a fatter ass when I did more lawn care stuff. I feel like this side feels different. And it's like, maybe it's because it's a little heavier, but like, I feel like it just feels different. Is the strap gay or is my brightness really low? Huh? Ask if it's a rainbow strap? No. Duck painting? Yeah, it's a chicken, but... close enough, I guess. I mean, it is multicolored, but it's a tan and a green, so I wouldn't... Are those gay colors now? I guess maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Like your pet? What's his name? I don't know. Which one? The chicken or the cow? It's crazy I just call the pig a cow. It's Pride Month, all colors are gay? Maybe. I feel like I need more weight on this. Doesn't feel heavy enough. The cow gay? Maybe. That was a snake. Yeah, I'm snake wrangling live on stream right now. How much is it? It's only 15 pounds. I just don't know if I need like more weight or more reps, you know what I mean? Because like what's nice about 15 is I can do everything guaranteed without ever having to change the weight. Reps. So I feel like I should keep weight lower then. Look at that brachioradialis. Is that what it's called? I just be making shit up. The thing is, I'm so low on free weights. Because I have these too. These are, I think, I don't know what weight these are. 5, 10. What's 17.5 times 2? I can't curl these. I don't know why I'm even pretending like I could. I think they're around 40 pounds. I just roll those. I hit the little things where I just hit them with the, you know. Or I can do some oblique crunches. Tight shit. So I still want those, and I have an easy bar that has 50 on it. I guess I do have like some ankle weights I could probably wrap around that thing to make it up to 20 pounds. I don't know where those are though. Gotta do finger curls? That's what I was doing. Well, I mean, not really finger curls. But I let it drop real low and then. The only issue is I need like something to go around it. So like whenever I pull it up, it stays in my fingers instead of shifting the weight further back. You know what I mean? Time for a workout stream? I do need to work out. I should work out before I shower too. It makes sense. Do I have a pump now? Not really. It's fine though. I wish there was more drink in that. There's not a lot of drink in that. Gym stream would be peak. Maybe a little bit. Guys, what do you say we relive the good old times? And we hop on some Counter-Strike and do some 1v1s for a bit. I traded a shit ton of my items back to myself from my other accounts. Because I was curious. Like, what the fuck? Not really. Curious isn't really the best word. Alright, I have to do a window capture. So you guys want to see my inventory now? They had a shit ton of cases on them though. This skin is so expensive now, it's incredible. The hydroponic. If I do this, am I gonna... Oh, I can't... Okay, good, I didn't leak anything. Like, it doesn't even show up in here. The only one that shows up is a battle scarred, and mine's a field tested. And even a battle scarred is 1300, bro. It's like 8K. Is it? Is it really? What's the best place to check skin prices? AK hydroponic field tested. Any plans to revisit Abiotic Factor? I don't know. The people who played it with weren't really big fans. Yeah, field tested is like... Well, it says field tested is 1300. I don't think that's true. 1400-ish? Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing anywhere from like 13 to 1400. That's crazy. And then another gun that's way more expensive than it used to be was this. What's the Hellfire? StatTrak M4A4 Hellfire, fact new. Fuck. I mean, even normal non-StatTrak's 800 bucks. Doesn't show me StatTrak for some reason. Do I have the only StatTrak version of it ever? Man, they changed this a lot. I kind of like it though. How the hell is StatTrak cheaper than normal fact new? The fuck? Oh, it's just a couple people putting it at 800. Gotcha. Still. I got my Tiger Tooths back. I say back like I lost them. They're just sitting on another account for the past... How long is 1300 days? Of course, my classic AK, but I've had this one. So pretty. Wow. How much do these go for? Dignitas Hollow. So, I mean, the last... There's buy orders at 1100. So we'll meet in the middle and say 1,200. So I just got 3 $1,200 stickers on there. That's gang as hell. What else did I recently receive? Oh yeah, I got a... Where's it at? Oh yeah, this one, the kill confirmed. This one, that goes for a lot more now too. Freaking, what's my wear? Back new. What did it last sell for? 300? It's like a $400 skin. I just be chilling, bruh. Honestly, I think I got more money in some of these cases, though. Some of these cases are so expensive now. Like, I don't think they make Phoenix cases anymore. I don't know if they do Breakout. Maybe not. I had so many old cases. Alright, let's see if there's any 1v1 servers. Only one decent one right now. Maybe if I do AM. Is Arena better? Duel. Alright, whatever, we'll just do this one. Sure, download the map. Are over 20K? Are you sure? So you're telling me I have... Look on CS float. Dignitas Hollow. Was it 2014? Cologne or whatever? Oh no, Katowice. Wait, no, that's a different one though. That's the Katowice 2014. I have a different one. Nice, still got it. Oh, this is a different 1v1. I should have hit him. That was bullshit. I hit him in the head, I felt like. What the? I figured he was gonna be down mid. Dude, this shit's weird, bruh. Huh? I win this. I don't. Yeah, you get away with it once, maybe not twice. There it is. Ah! Dude, I'm not used to this 1v1. What the fuck? This shit weird. Wait, where's it? Oh. What? Shit, I'm on it. Shit, I'm on it. Wait, where's he at? You're up there? Dude, what the fuck is this map? Am I going the wrong way? No, he's there. Is he not? Hold on. Voice. Wait, huh? Oh, voice mode enable. Voice mode. Where? Oh. Dude, I don't know where they're coming from on these. It should throw me off hard. I'm deagling this guy. Told you. I'm deagling this guy too. Bullshit. Bullshit. Dude, hearing the other gunshots really throws me off. What the fuck was that? There it is. I hit him right in the fucking dome piece, brother. I didn't realize he was that close. How's it going? I'm alright. What the fuck? He's so... Dude, I don't like this version of 1v1s. It's so quick. I don't know where they're coming from half the time. I don't know the AK spray pattern anymore. Is he not here? Oh. Fucking clickbait. They never spawned up there. I've never spawned up there once during that. See, now he's not up there. It's just confusing, bro. I just never know where they're coming from. Ugh. How are those not headshots? Okay, see, I was adjusting and like, you're lucky. That guy was confused too, I could tell. Alright, no, I'll win one of these. There it goes. He's that close! He's upstairs. He's up here. Surely this is from window, right? It's not! The fuck just happened? How did I hit that? Why are you up there? What are these fucking... Fuck this server. I was gonna say shitty server, but it all just came out at once. There's no way he's down here, right? No, it doesn't even fucking do that. Huh? That would have been sick, though. That would have been sick, though. This is so different from typical 1v1s I'm playing. Why is this guy so close? Why do I have to keep facing the same guy? Why did I face the same guy 10 times in a row? Fuck. Bullshit. My nose itches. Yeah, I won that. Would have been sick though. Don't. Is my crosshair broken? Would have been sick though. Would have been sick though. Oh. Nice, somehow. I thought that was me. Was that not me? I'm confused. Is he in apps? Where the fuck is he coming from? That's embarrassing. I gotta kill him. I feel like that went right through his head, but it's alright. I feel like he pre-fired me, but that's alright. I feel like every time I'm on that side, they can get up there before I even get up there. These guys know this map way too well. They're literally looking at where I come from. See, like, I keep on zoning out and not realizing it's me because I'm not used to having this skin. So it's not this one that time. Hello? I feel like I'm confused because some of them, they just... Like, you guys notice how they always get there way before me, but whenever I'm on that side, like, I can never make it there in time? It's interesting. Bullshit. Like, I feel like he should be dead. There it is. Which one is it? Some of these fuckers take too goddamn long to get out, bro. Nah. An A1? How do you have an A1 and you're missing this much? Whether you hit me with a deagle? Uh-oh. Why do they spawn that? Dude, I hate this version of 1v1. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't like that version of 1v1 at fucking all. What happened to the good one? Where it's like, you're in a match, you fight somebody, and then like, it changes. Like it waits till the round's over. You know what I mean? Maybe that's not duel. But like, whenever I look up 1v1, all I get is duels. You're gay? Happy Pride Month, man. This is your month. Do I need less ping or something? Maybe this one. Oh, Karma Gaming. See, I feel like I've played Karma Gaming before, but now they're just not popping up. I don't know why. Did you sell the case, Harden? No. I still got it. I just am not using it. ATM. Gotta download assets and shit, bro. Something tells me this is gonna be the same. Yeah, I don't want this. If I just type in karma. Karma, 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 chameleon. Friend cover game session. Frick that guy. Alright, fuck it, dude. Let's run a surf map. Fuck it. Tight shit, you know? What shooting games you like? Valorant sucks. Overwatch is alright. Hello, what's up, Bob? Classic surf utopia.
He's a pedophile now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he always was, but
Yeah.
I thought
But
he
it
was
came
like a
out
child
like
predator,
I forgot
not
what
just
year
a-
it came out.
It came out because
It was.
Oh, that was awesome. I'm wondering what the fuck they were talking about. Oh, that was hilarious. He's a pedophile now. He's known pedophile. That's what's tricky about pedophiles is I don't think they're like, you know what, I'm a pedophile now. It's like, well, no, they got busted doing what they're into, and then like they were already a pedophile most likely. I mean, I guess maybe one day just like something happens in their head where they're just like, you know what? I like it when they can't legally consent. Oh, I bumped my head. Must have got the speed though, we're chilling. I haven't played this map in forever. But I beat it. Did I beat it? Yeah. Cool. I wonder who they were talking about. Too high. I gotta catch up to this guy. He's going faster than me. Oh, I missed it. I tried to hit the lip just so I could spray. Or not what? Spray. Just get shut up. Good clip, Vad. I don't even have to click it to know what it is. He's a pedophile now. God, what a great line to come in on. If it wasn't Surf, I would have stayed unmuted, but who knows how long until someone just is racist. Yo, Groovy, thank you for the 29 months. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I feel like my speed is better. Fuck. I would have gotten a new PB if I didn't fly so high. Bummer. At least it's not COD. Well, COD, if they're racist, they get banned or something because they're listening to your voice chat. Bullshit. I'm tired of this map. Give me a new map. Laden Frost. Wait, it's an easy surf. Fuck, this is probably not even hard to do. Bummer. What's up, Ariana? Why doesn't they just auto-download shit anymore, bro? Hey guys, Leafy here.
Oh shit.
Why is my voice back on?
Or I think you can direct it, but the angle is tight. It's really hard.
Where am I going? Okay. You guys see that console command halfway through? Shit was sick. I don't know where I'm going. Do I go up? Okay, no. Where do I go? Where do I go? I don't know where to go. Huh? I guess you can walk this surf map. Oh, I think this is one of those things where like you do it real low, then you yeah, okay. I was gonna say, please reset me. I don't feel like typing. I feel like I could jump off of that and go straight to this one. Yo, Delmo, thank you for the 61 months. I appreciate it. Oh. I figured that was going to reset me. I'm just going to follow this guy. Oh, where'd he go? Can I jump off of this? Cool. Wait, where am I supposed to be? Fuck, dude. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. No, that's a long-ass jump. Alright. Figured I'd try it, though. Can I do this one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Did hit the roof. We're good. I forgot where I was supposed to go already. Fuck me, dude. I don't know where I'm supposed to go on this map. I don't know if I'll make it that time. I'm losing speed. Okay, these guys just not don't get too far away from me because I don't know where I'm going. They flew off of that way higher than I did. Fuck. I keep on forgetting where to go. Yo, Quincy, thank you for the Prime months. What? Prime sub for 9 months. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Okay. I think I gotta fly over that one higher. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm understanding. Shit. Yeah. Oof, slow. Oh, that's embarrassing. Am I making that? You're barely. Okay. I just can't forget where to go. Go up high. You gotta get high on this one. Okay, I guess even higher. That was a bad landing. Holy shit, I'm slow. Yeah. I gotta beat this map once. It said it was an easy surf. Just tough when you don't know where to go. Fuck. What the fuck? What? I'm going slow right here. Can I bounce off of these? Oh, okay. See, then it's like here, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Okay, so that one I gotta go higher. Fuck! Oof. Super slow, but it's fine. I just gotta beat the map, then I'll worry about getting quicker, you know what I mean? Type shit. Yeah, that guy, he's zooming. Okay, but I can't bounce off of that part. Fuck! Gotcha. I kind of went high on that, but it should be okay. Okay, so we go relatively high off of here. I don't think I went relatively high enough, but we can just bounce off of that. See, that's the one I forgot I was supposed to go high off of. Wait, oh, hold up. Did I just do a fucking circle? Am I supposed to go up? Oh, shit. Huh? Alright, good night. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. I'm confused. Yes, yes. Are you telling me yes, yes, that I'm supposed to go high up? Am I still playing CS? Yeah. Okay, so this one I fucking hit the ground and ruin my momentum is what I do. Wait, I'm surfing off the wall. Yeah, yep, recovered. Do I go down the drill? Is there a way to watch? I'm confused. Oh, okay. I don't know what's happening. Me neither on that map. I'm confused, dude. That's what I was just checking, but I didn't see a way to go up anywhere. It all looked closed. I don't know. Surf Autism? That might be the map for me. What about Surf Newsflash, pal? Ow.
Hey, there we go. Sub 39. No, 39.
Why does my voice get enabled? Why could I not jump there? What the fuck was that? That felt weird. Why could I not jump? Why does the gravity feel heavy? Wait, let me follow you. I don't know where I'm going. Oh, shit. Huh? Wait, was I supposed to just go right there? It doesn't let me do a fucking... It's because I jump with my mouse and it doesn't like that for some reason. That's quench too. Ugh. Flick. This map feels weird. Oh, fuck off. Ugh, caught it, barely. This map is cringe. The map should be called Surf Gay. Because it was stupid. Sorry, not saying gay, stupid. Newsflash, pal. Maybe it is, though. Lock in. Is this an obby? No, I feel like the closest thing to obbies would be like KZ. During Pride Month? Yep, especially during Pride Month. Wait, where do I go? What's that fucking sound? Okay, so I just noticed this thing. Dude, why this move? It feels chunky. There we go. Surely if I hit a B-hop, I can make that shit. Why is it? It feels so laggy. I don't like the server. The server sucks. Oh, it's because my ping is high. Less than 100 ping, pretty please. So apparently no fucking Americans play this shit with like an actual server, dude. Whatever, dude. What freaking ever. Not interested in Creature Kitchen? What, I'm playing every game, so you're just like, oh, not interested in this? What the fuck type of logic is that? You good? I've returned? Cool. I gotta also edit today. For God, I'll do that after I stream. I want songs, but different songs than I was listening to. You're about playing LOL. That'd be hell entertaining. Yeah, I thought about it. Place again. How long is Creature Kitchen? Is it like a game that ends eventually, or is it just like you just go until you give up? I don't feel like typing in Creature Kitchen. Where's it at? It said I wishlisted it. God, how long ago did I wishlist this, or did I just miss it? 2 hours? I play it again. There's a pack on here with like a bunch of games that look kind of cool. I'm just gonna buy them all. Fuck it. Foxy, thank you for these 16 months. Appreciate it. Welcome back. 1 year mod, W. It's called the Rat Zone packs. I feel like I literally have to pay for it. Look up Slay the Princess. I would never slay the princess. She's my princess. Why would I slay her? I would never do that. You worship the princess. You don't slay her. Come on. You love the art style? How do you know? Think Swagger finish in a little over 2 hours? What, Creature Kitchen or Slay the Princess? Which one are we talking about here? Creature Kitchen? Cool. I mean, Slay the Princess looks cool. I mean, I would say, like, I love the art style, but it's not, like, offensive. Wait again. Alright, let's play some Creature Kitchen, shall we? Shit, loud as hell. Alright, Creature Kitchen. Look sensitivity, I feel like that's just gonna have to go down. Camera FOV all the way up. Rumble. Yes. Resume game. What happens if I click that? I've never even played it before. See, but now I'm unsure. It's like, is that where it's supposed to start? I just gotta be sure now. Okay, cool. I will follow this glowing orb. Oh, there's also a flashlight. Come here, orb. Come on, let me talk to you. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Come on, man. Why is this where? Ooh, a doghouse. Is this where I stay? Oh. How the? In what game can you not walk through a damn bush, man? Was I supposed to do that? Oh, I was, I think. I was just clicking shit, honestly. Cooking basics. Impress everyone or dying trying. Every meal is made by placing ingredients in the oven. Close the door to inform the unit of your offering is ready. Be patient and linger not long near the void of creation. If you need a slice and ingredient knife is your best bet, that makes sense. That's usually what I say that's pretty much the #1 slicing tool in America, maybe even the world. For your safety of your countertop, always use a cutting board. If rage overtakes you, put the knife down. Fuck. Put ingredients once placed in a bowl, make sure to mix it. I'm like, the thing is, I'm not gonna remember all of that. Where do I put this mushroom? That works. Hello, my dear. Thank you for looking after the home on such short notice. My departure must be very concerning. Keep them fed, and you should have nothing to worry about. If you need some ideas for meals, keep an eye out. There should be a recipe card scattered about. Take care. Remember to make good memories. XX. Ingredients, bread slice. Oh, heavens, this is easy to burn. Luckily, my oven knows how to create just about anything. Pancakes, egg sandwich, mistake, French fries. Cool. Everything's locked. What's this? Once, nothing. This is an example. The photo of a creature to learn what meals they want. Oh, take a photo. When I earn 3 hearts, I'll be gifted a key. She loves the music of the winds. How do I take a photo? Have I gotten that button yet? That's locked. That's locked. That's locked. That's locked. Do I have to pick which one this? Oh. Ah, because it was a triangle key. I understand now. Damn, big ass. Oh my god. If I turn around, is the door still going to be right next to me? Uh-oh. This is just that long of a fucking... That was weird. Take a bread. I feel like the door... Yeah, I knew it. Oh, there's the cutting board. This shit easy. Where's my toaster even at? Also, where do I get the camera? Wasn't I supposed to take photos of things? Oh, I thought I could sit. I'm trying to take a photo of you. No, come back. Old seed. Okay, well, that doesn't help me take a photo. Surely the bird likes bird. What? The bird likes bread. How'd I fuck that one up? How'd I take a photo? Okay, that's not it. Did I miss a keybind? Is there... Maybe the bird just wants some water. No. Is there a camera in here and I just didn't... Salt, pasta, that's good. Peanut butter, bread, tomatoes, broth. Why is maple syrup down there? Hey, recipe. Flour. Slop, yummy. Oh, hey, camera. Keep. Any 2 meals. Okay. Goblin. Oh. Bread slice should be easy. And then we could make dough with maple syrup. Where's the flour at? Yep, boom. Flour. Water. Sick. Dough. A deer. A female deer. Oh, do I put them in the oven? Is this how cooking works? It should be easy, bro. Ooh, those look delicious. Okay, so... Don't come out yet. I still gotta get you a piece of toast. Voila. What? Want some pancakes? I also got some toast for you. Let's go. Ew. Thank you. What shape is this? A fish. Ah, that's how I get that. Oh, there's some good stuff. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's see. Where's the camera at? Always shitter beneath the porch seems to think he owns the place. Well, let me go check. Oh. Shit. Keep. Yeah, I know. You own the place. I know you pay rent, probably. Alright, how do I do that? 2 sandwiches. How to make a sandwich? Do I have that? I got egg sandwich, bread slice, and fried egg. Perfect. Oh, it's like Arctic penguins. No. Two bread slices. Make another egg. Arctic egg. Is that what it's called? I forgot what that game was called. Yeah, it was just called Arctic Egg. Oh, alright. Bon appetit. That looks so good, dude. I miss 7-Eleven egg sandwiches. I wish I had eggs. Actually, I think I do have eggs, but I don't know if they're good. Huh. Cool. Let's go make it another one. Almost had a bread slice. Eggs. Oh, my little trash cat. Got another one for you. Hey! Do I have to give them both at once? Do I have to make 2 different sandwiches? Bread slice, peanut butter jam, mixed strawberry and sugar. Oh wait, I've never seen sugar in here. I thought. Aha. What else? Peanut butter. Peanut butter was here. Yeah, chop up the bread again. Bad cut. Yo, Weep Womp, thank you for the 12 months. Boom, more bread acquired. Is it? Okay. Alright, let's mix this up. Beautiful. Boom. Kabow. Kabloom. Kapow. PBJ sandwich time. I feel like this PBJ is about to look so damn good. I mean, I'm personally more of a... I have way more jelly on those motherfuckers, man. I load that shit up with both peanut butter and... I haven't had a fucking PB&J in so long, man. Damn. Just say you not want it? You don't give me nothing? Ah, thank you. I get cheese. Oh, I get cheese. And a recipe. Cool. I got a pizza recipe. Okay, let's see what else. Well. Oh, no, they always clean the floor out for me. It's true. Wait, they always clean the floor for me. Check this out. This shit's so simple. Easy as shit, bruh. Oops. Oh. That's so adorable. Oh, now he's looking. That's so cute. Oh, my fault, OG. Okay, right. What's down here? I don't know yet. I'll worry about that when I get there. 3 snacks with cheese. Okay, so I gotta make this little ass rat a whole ass fucking pizza. I don't have anything else with cheese. That's got a spaghetti and meatball. Would that have cheese? No. Okay. Feel like a hidden recipe? Water. What's the other cheese recipes? Alright, maybe I'll just find out. I'll never turn down a dimly lit picnic by the river. If you're quick enough, you might catch a glimpse of this little demon. Sure likes making messes in the pantry. The fuck? You don't have to go in order in the book? Well, I figured I can't. 3 tastes of Italy. Okay, so I have to make both of them fucking pizzas. God damn it. Read me. Oh, I already read you. Yo, Weepwomp, thank you for the 300 bits. I appreciate it. Okay, so this is Italy. Pizza's Italy. French fries. Will those count as Italy? So pasta. Tomato sauce. Just tomato and salt. Raw steak plus salt. That's sugar. Fuck. Where's the salt at? That's sugar again. Ah. Beautiful. Ground beef. What else? Tomato sauce. Gotcha. I'll check in a second. And what else? Pasta. Cool. Thank you. Cheese and crackers. There we go. There we go. France is not Italy? Okay. I'll believe you. Pizza, dough, flour, water. Wicked. Dough. Tomato sauce. Wait. No. Yeah. Tomato and salt. Okay. We'll grab some more salt. Beautiful. Wonderful. Looking delicious so far. And a cheese slice. There we go. Do I cut the cheese? Stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. Fuck. Stinky. Boom. Kaplow. Kabam. Kabow. Ta-da! Pizza. Right. Well, I got him 2 tastes of Italy. Gotta do crackers and 3 cheese. Hey, crackers. Crackers. Do I have crackers? I don't think I have crackers yet. One, 4, 7, 9. Hold on. Which is the 9 looking one? 9. Okay. What's the next one? 1. 7. Found the crackers. So wait, what do I do? Crackers and then just cheese slices. Oh, perfect amount of cheese slices too. We love that. Make my cheese and crack. Couldn't I just drop that? I feel like I should have just combined them. Why does that look so good? Also, nowhere near enough cheese, if we're just gonna be honest. How many? 3 tastes of Italy, and what's this little rat one? 3 snacks of cheese. Greedy, brother, greedy. I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and give him a cheese and crackers. Yay. Okay. Hey! I don't have anything else. Wait, what if I just give him cheese? Oh wait, cheese is in the fridge, I forgot. Will that work? No. Fuck. This motherfucker just finessed free cheese out of me, brother. Let's see what the next thing we get is. I'll never turn down a dimly lit picnic. I feel like I gotta bring food to the picnic, right? I mean, they'll never turn it down, so I guess we'll just make toast and take it for the picnic. Make a grilled cheese? I don't know. Do I have a grilled cheese? No. Wait. Pasta and cheese sauce. And it's Italy. Cool. Alright, we'll go do that in a second. I gotta get more cheese. Fuck. Oh. Huh? Fuck. Didn't even need to cut it up, bro. Damn it. Cheese sauce. Pasta. Do I have more pasta in here? Nar. We'll go get more pasta from the triangle door then. Simply. Beautiful. And then, ta-da. And then put it in. Then we get Alfredo. And these are 3 tastes of Italy right here. And then we'll also remake them for the rat. Lovely. No. Okay. Do I have to wait till he makes a ruckus? Perfect. What if I just toss it in there? Okay. Eat that shit. Yeah, you like that shit, don't you? Yippee! Got a sideways square key. Right? Diamond. Where have I seen a diamond? Shit. Oh no. Oh, whew. Oh. No, wait. It's a different type of diamond. Ah. The outhouse. Oh. What the hell is this? That just seems dangerous. God damn, tall ass shed. Oh, recipe. Philly cheesesteak. Yummy. Yummy. Okay. Let's make Alfredo again. Cheese wedge. Milk. We'll go grab some pasta. And then we'll also do... We'll give a fried steak, cheese slice, and bread slice. Oh, I was gonna say, is there not steaks earlier? Yeah, cook it even on both sides. Lovely. Cheese slice. Wait, have a cheese slice. Boom. 2 bread slices. Yep. Hey, get out of my fridge. Little shitter. Spooky Nate, thank you for the prime sub. I appreciate it. What up? Thank you very much. Ooh, that looks good. Hey, eat this shit. Eat that shit. Yeah, eat that shit. Good boy. Okay. Wait. Thank you. A heart key over here. Hello? Wow, this is lovely. Oh, a soy. This isn't a soy machine. It's a coffee pot. Awfully hot coffee pot. Happy wonderings, my dear. I feel my, or rather our, friends in the shadows holding trepidation in their hearts. Farewells are a challenge I am quite loath to be a proctor of. Looking at dancing pale eyes, a question lingers. How did I arrive? Many dozens of crescents have soared above, to the point those memories are blurred. A question that needs answering sooner than later for this family. Wow, my grandma's a fucking poet. Fuck? Never mind, my grandma's schizophrenic. What the fuck is she talking about over there? Hello? Whatever. Favorite snack stashed away. If I was pants, what would I want to eat? I don't know. But I also saw, before we go too far. Sorry, Jake. I had to do it. We Jake the dog and Finn the human. I'm gonna break that fucking. 3 varieties of dessert. Thank God they're not fucking greedy. Wait a second. Pants. What the fuck would you want? Wait, but it was stashed away. He wants an egg sandwich. Surely. Bread slice and fried eggs. Because that one was stashed away. I didn't mean to. How did that happen? I flipped it too early, so it burnt. Now that one makes sense, unfortunately. Let's try that again. I didn't even know this could happen until right now. Try it one more time. I know you want an egg sandwich because my pants want an egg sandwich right now. I know it. Did I cook? No. Okay, that's not what he wanted. But what I respect about him is that he ate it anyways. Ah, this is how I get the pants thing. Okay, so I just don't have the key yet. Oaf loves the smell of fresh coffee, but I can't make coffee yet, so I can't do that one. Hope the wind doesn't blow him off the branches. How far can I wait? Oh, right, I already have a flashlight. Mushroom stir fry. Oh, that's for sure what this guy wants. Right click together. Oh. Yoink. Mine now. Oh. Fish. They want fish. Thank you. Wait, did I put them back? Wait, I don't have my camera. I don't have my camera. Fuck! Shit. I hope he's still there. Got your ass, Hopper. Okay. What does Hopper want? Two dishes from the yard. Two dishes from. So maybe he probably wants the mushroom stir fry. Mushroom, pasta, butter. I'm gonna go grab another mushroom real quick. Mushroom. Pasta. Oh. Wait, what was the other one? Butter. What? Get out of here. Is this gonna look delicious? No, it doesn't. Mushroom slice. Turns out, no, go ahead, eat. It's all yours. The fuck? How many of you fuckers are there? Okay. Try to do a little bit better this time. Mushroom, mushroom, pasta. What was the other one? Butter, right. Fuck. Beautiful. That was gonna be better. Oops. Good evening. Hello, Dominic. Delectable. Okay. Yeah, get out of here. Damn, okay. Hungry boy. So that did work. Lovely. I don't know if I have anything else from the yard necessarily. What are... I gotta read what that is. Oh. Oaf loves the smell of fresh coffee, right? How do I... Wait. Ooh, a recipe. Wait, I tossed the camera inside. Okay, I was gonna say, I hope I'm dying. Hey, shut up. I got your ass. The dog's starving to death. Oh no. Alright, what do you want? 3 meals with beef. Okay. Make it a Philly cheesesteak. That was easy. Fuck. Boom. Perfect. How do I make it? Fried steak, cheese slice, and a bread slice. Fried steak, cheese slice, bread slice. Yummers. I think I forgot the other bread slice. Where's my bread? I need more bread. Fuck, I thought I could maybe only just chop off a couple. Wrong. There we go. Yo, Devin, thank you for the prime sub. I appreciate it. Cheesesteak. What was this for again? All right, the dog. Does he want 2 of them? I get just 3 meals. Okay. We could do spaghetti meatballs. Ooh, let's do beef burrito. Tortilla. Wait, tortilla. Do I have a tortilla yet? I don't know if I have tortilla yet. I don't know. So I don't know if do I even have 3 beef? I think this is the only other one. And salt. I need to grab salt. Salt. W. Tomato sauce. Grab some more salt. Tomato. Lovely. And pasta. Isn't it lovely? Isn't it wonderful? That's 2 beefs. There's not. I mean, this is the other one, but I don't think I have tortillas. Surely I can make a tortilla with like flour and milk. And then okay, I figured I just bullshit something. Dessert. Do I even have any desserts? Peanut butter cookies, I guess. Flour and water. Sugar, peanut butter. Sugar, which is right here. Hey. Done. Surely this will get his. Yeah, chicken. Weird ass feet, bruh. Perfect. Strawberry ice cream, milk, sugar, ice, ice. Ice. I can't get ice. Alright, we'll take these to the dog then. Fuck it. Whoops. Alright, I guess we'll wait till it gets back. So mean, I didn't think it was gonna hit it. That's not my fault. I mean, I guess technically it like literally is my fault, but still. So we gotta get fish somehow to put it in this Hey. You have any fish? Okay. Hey buddy, you're back. I feel like I didn't lose that, but alright. Gentry, thank you for giving a sub to Tenacious. Appreciate it. There you go, buddy. Hey! Hey! There we go. Awesome. I need another key. 3 meals with beef. Already did that one. Did that one. We need this one, but okay, so we can't do the 3 meals with beef yet. 2 dishes from the yard. I don't know what that other was. I guess we'll take another dog toy. I don't know what else I can get in the yard besides like a fish. Wait, is that hopper or is that a fish? Maybe there's something in the shed I gotta grab. Soil. Meatloaf. Oh, tortillas. Fried steak, chopped lettuce. It was so much easier before I knew I could even throw it out somehow. Chopped lettuce, cheese slice. I think I have a cheese slice here. Chop up some lettuce. Damn, big ass thing of lettuce, but alright. If it says mistake, I'm in. Okay. Ooh, that looks yummy. Alright, beef burrito. That's for the doggy. Eat that shit. Gift time. Thanks. Alright. See what's in here. Red bed? What? Red bead. That makes more sense. Blue bead. Midnight greetings, my dear. Watching misty fingers rise through the trees, a strange thought has taken haunt. A flavor of drowsiness and now dances alongside the light in my soul. The twilight whispers hold not a tinge of concern, and so I shall trust their calm as I prepare to rest until the new steward's arrival. Fancy. A green bead. Oh, I don't want that. Ah. Where did I see the blue? There it is. Raw chicken. Perfect. What new recipes did I get? Chicken burrito. Hey, doggy. Oh, I love you too. Okay. Varieties of dessert, meals with beef. Wait, it would, oh wait, that's not. I still don't know. I don't know how you would even get this guy back. What? Very long, just once big dinner. I wonder if I can bring him inside. Not sure this is a dog. What the fuck is it? Alright, we'll try to make more. Wait, no, but I still can't open the. This counts as dessert. Flour, water. Does it? Does it count as dessert? I don't know. I mean, like technically they're dessert. What's up, boy? Does stew use mushroom? Yeah, I think. Wait, does it? No. Does use potato and carrots, but I'm pretty sure I have to plant carrots out here. I just don't know how to find the fertile ground that it wants me to. I don't know how. Did I? Am I? Didn't it? I don't. Someone remember that. Digging a fertile ground. How do I tell when it's fertile ground? Ah. Hey, recipe. Mushroom soup. Oh, there's another one anyways, so. Fuck it. Broth, mushroom slice, potato slice. Easy. Fuck, that's embarrassing. Both mushroom slice. Why not just put the whole mushroom in there, bro? Come on. And a potato slice. Just one? Yep. Alright, get in there. Why did this rat not eat the butter? Come on, eat the butter, bitch. Yummy. That shit looks bland as hell. But that's for the frog, right? Yes. My puppy. Maybe. If you really are a puppy. I'm not too sure. Hey, eat that shit. Give me a key, bro. Come on. Give me the key that needs the ice. I think this is the bathroom key or whatever. Oh, it is the ice. Hey, puppy. Let's go. I can make desserts now. Well, at least one other dessert. Okay. How do I make... Huh? Oh, fuck. Pants is back. Okay. Milk, sugar, ice, strawberry. Somehow we're gonna make ice cream in the oven. Don't question me. Just watch and learn. Oh, that looked nummy. So we need this key. I don't know if... Do I get this key from beating pants? I don't know. Oh, wait. Did anyone remember that? Oh. Apple. And an apple pie recipe. W. That's the... That's a dessert. There it is. Dough, sugar, butter, apple slice. Huh? Well, I do think I... Yeah, wait. Fuck. Sugar, butter. Flour and water. Done. Apple pie time. Give me some of that. Okay. Here you go. Just say, do you not want it? I was about to be pissed off and kill myself, honestly. Please. Fuck. Okay, well, we can get the coffee now. Ah, that's how I figured that out. Gross. Wasn't expecting that guy to pop up, I'm gonna be real. Okay, what does he want? 4 breakfast items? Greedy bitch. Toast, that one's easy. What else? Pancakes, dough, maple syrup. Wait, what is this? Oh, I already had toast. Fuck. Where'd he go? Wait, where'd he go? We'll leave it there for him. Ah, pants left. Backup toast, just in case. Flour, water, what's in here already? That's only one of them. Dough. Maple syrup. Do I have more under here? No. Wait. Meatball sub. Yummy. What else? Eggs and bacon? That's a breakfast item. Fried egg, fried bacon. Oh shit. Endo. That's not an endo. What's that called? Endo's on the nose. What's it? Primo. That's it. Shit. Is there an egg in here? Boom. I was about to cry. Beautiful. What else? Perfect. I can't. There's an egg. Magical fridge. That was a close one. What else do I need? 2 bread slices. What do you want? Brush is barking a bark. If only fridges work like that, that'd be awesome. Never have to go shopping. Okay. Egg salami done. Where's this guy at? Oh, Sassy. Mr. Sassy Poo. Huh? Where's he at? Oh, I heard him. There you go. We'll bring you toast. Stay there. Don't eat that toast too quick. Perfect. One more. You hungry? Or full, I mean? Yay! Thank you. What's this for? Something on the right side, I think. Let's see. Is that always there? I don't remember. Bowl. I gotta, what am I missing? This is done. Never been seen. Didn't know he was blurry in real life. Very polite. Can't see if it's still true. I don't know how to get these. Okay, so I'm done with most of them. The other ones I just have to actually get. Where is that one at? That one's in the other room. Fish chowder. Why you can't get fish? How do I get fish? True honor to be a part of its gaze. Okay. I just... No. Oh, fireflies is literally one that... Okay. Got the same birthday? Awesome. Lucky you. Wait, that's not what I'm trying to do. You gotta find out what they want. Ah. Wants nothing. Okay, well that was easy. So wait, did I get a key from him? Oh, that's just a dog toy again. Hey, buddy. Okay, that one didn't help me much. The evening's ever watching eye. Huh? There we go. How do I feed the moon? Okay. I'm so confused. I think it just scared me, even though it is like chill. What are these? Just stars? I feel like they're a different star. They're like a blue star. Where the fuck are the fireflies? I mean, I see them, but it's not... Oh. So to plant the seeds? Yeah. That'll pop in my lost and found. It's whatever. That means something. This is soil. Where'd the seeds go? Oh. You got a nachos recipe. Okay. That's done. How do I water it? Oh. Do I need to get my camera? A rose. Every rose has a storm. Okay. Maybe this means something different. What else could this? Login, but login. So there's still one I have to get a key from. There's also fish. I have to get fish. This is how I get the last key. But how the fuck do I get fish? Have I gotten fish? Maybe I have to light all these oh wait, also let's do this. Sunday showers. Monday clouds. Tuesday rain. Wednesday more showers. Thursday thunderstorm. Friday cloud coverage expected. Oh. Sunday sunny. Hey, recipe. Hey, chips. Hey, a book. Huh. Country fried chicken. Yummy. I can't turn it off. Oh. Hey, a fish. Wait, why do I need to? Okay. Wait. I need my camera. Well, maybe. Maybe I can get back to it in time. Okay, not ideal pathing there. What in the fuck? I wasn't expecting that thing. I'm gonna be honest. Expecting like a bird or something. Gerald. Damn, I'm fucking dying. Okay. What does Gerald want? Wants 4 meats of sky or sea. Okay. So we could do... chicken burrito. Because it's like chickens fly. Maybe. I mean, we can find out. No cheese. Bummer. Have to cut some more. Choppy chop. Fried chicken. I didn't know if that flipped. I'm gonna be real. I'm coming off of a sickness. I'm not sick no more. I just got to phlegm my shit. Oh, there they are. Boom. Please don't be a mistake. Oh wait, recipe. Steak and eggs. Ooh, that looks delicious. So I put it in his... Does he like it? Perfect. But did he actually like it or did he just eat it? Okay, perfect. So what else? Fish and chips. So fried fish and potato slices. How'd I get another fish? My plunger's gone. Okay. Guess not. Oh yeah, I guess fish probably just here and here and there. Duh. Shit. There we go. Wait. I think I did a double flip, so I wasn't frying anymore, bro. Stop doing a double flip, bro. There we go. Potato slice. Do I have potatoes? Potato. 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 Beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. When I saw your face in a crowded plate. That was delicious. And I don't know what to do. But do. Another meal for you. Still curious what this rose is. Okay. Omelette? No. Chicken noodle soup, broth, fried chicken, pasta. Cook, bro, damn. Okay, fried chicken broth. Do I have another broth in here? Beautiful. Pasta and and a bee. And a carrot slice. Beautiful. Just one carrot slice? Hi. Pasta. Pasta. Boom. Right. Pasta, broth, carrot. Pasta, broth, carrot, chicken. W. What's another one? Did I do this one already? Fried chicken, potato slice, and gravy. Oops. Fuck. Fried chicken, potato slice, and gravy. Whatever. This has been my strategy the whole time. Now it's just not going to work. Thank you. Okay. Fried chicken, potato slice, gravy. Do I have another potato? That's a bread. Fuck. How do I make gravy? I should check. Mix butter and flour. Gotcha. Perfect. Flour. Butter. Even a nice gravy boat already. Okay, now potato. Potato. Beautiful. Potato slice. Yep. Looks delicious. All right, let's drop off these two final ones to Gerald. I hear ya. This guy's got to give me the key for pants or something. Right? Hopefully. Eat it. Fuck, it's my room. Okay. So then that guy that's like, ooh, he's such a romantic. That's what I use the rose for too. The I'm so dumb and slow. Chicken noodle soup literally says Gerald's favorite. Cool. Fuck, pants is back. This shit black and white as hell. I need my camera. Oh. Hey. Hope all is well with you, my friend. Yeah, you too. As flames act for brethren, petaled beauties capture my gaze. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that shit low key, for sure. 4 vegetarian. Oh my god, he's a pussy. Is milk vegetarian? Yes. So Alfredo should count then, yeah? It's not vegan though? Yeah, because vegan's no animal byproducts. Vegetarian is just no meat, right? Okay, we'll do this one. Milk and cheese wedge. And pasta, right? Isn't that it? Yep. Some vegetarians even eat eggs. I mean, it makes sense. It's not like you have to kill the chicken for it. I've seen this provided form to Wispblade in dreams. Eat this shit, dog. Come on. Oh, okay. Okay, where's the secret to this? Cool. Just be bullshitting until it works. This bro just be spitting. I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but he's spitting. Another vegetarian. Wait, how many does he need? 4. Nope. 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 Bean burrito, tortilla, beans, and chopped lettuce. Fuck, it's carrot. Damn it. Alright, lettuce is in the fridge. Wait, but I might as well. Yeah. Damn, that shit exploded. Damn! Yummy. Man, implore mindfulness when in this sanctuary. Yeah, it is my fault, OG. What treasure may this bag of mystery hold? From conception to creation, this meal shit. That's probably what it said. Okay. Pizza, no, well. Yeah. Dough, flour, water. Do I have more cheese slice? Perfect. I need tomato and some salt. Pizza. What else do I still need a picture of? 13 and 14. Wait. There's still this that I have to figure out. I felt like that's what this was, but... Showers. Oh. There we go. I was just one off. Alright, fish and chips, no. I mean, French fries, that shit's easy enough. Fuck us some French fries right now. You always, yeah, you could. Moldy socks. Thank you for the 10 months, by the way. Ginger, thank you for gifting us up to Tenacious. I think I already saw that. David, thank you for the 28 months. I don't know if I ever saw that. Those look delicious. Yummy, yummy. Fuck ass. Once there was a wizard who came from Old Snake Mouth, went clockwise around the mountain, landed one pace past due south. One pace past due south. Went clockwise. Okay. Done shopping at Lumtown, trekked back the way he came. Rune in hand, the man ended a couple paces past North's Flame. Okay. So it's like a code. Done shopping at Lumtown. I already read that. At sunset with a bag and sword, the wizard made for the east. His goal was to a town named Four, beyond fields of evil beasts. Are all of those needed or just... Oh, is that for that? I thought that was for the clock. Clockwise to 7, counter to 2. No. Let me read it again. One pace past due south. Trekked back the way he came. A couple, so, I mean, yeah, I feel like that'd be 2. Named 4. I mean, I feel like what you said makes sense. Yeah, let's just fully reset it. Is that what it gave me, or is that already? Let me just do the whole circle so it feels like I reset it. Does it matter where it starts from? I don't know. Once there's a widow who came from Old Snake Mouth. I don't know. Snake Mouth. 6. Of course. 7, 10, 4. Why do you think it's 10? Oh yeah, because it's going. Yeah. Makes sense. I feel like I put these somewhere. I feel like I do something with these crest halves. I haven't seen anywhere I could put these yet. Oh. Oh wait, fuck. God damn it, I gotta go back and get it. Do I still have to... Did he give me something? Did he drop me a key? Did I not pay attention to it? Or did he drop me this? Maybe he dropped me this. Okay, now I need my camera. There's the blue lights. This is where I get it. Oh. Yeah. Hoorah. Really? Cool. The gathering of this chosen family awaits beyond the final meal. What do you want? Can I get french fries? Remember to take care. And make good memories. Okay. Did I take a photo of this though? Wasn't I feel like I was supposed to take a photo. Maybe just meeting it was good. I don't know. That thing just fucking killed itself. Pants! This motherfucker just wanted cereal. Pants? Buddy, welcome back. I got just the thing you want. Huh? I really hope I don't fuck this up. Fuck. Did I get a recipe for cereal? I don't know. I hope this isn't a mistake. Give me a second, buddy. Oh, I was gonna say, uh-oh. Hold on. Surely. Give me a second, buddy. There we go. Go back to the goo blob thing. The hell? Oh. What'd you give me? Huh? Oh. Hey. My dear, as I put ink to thoughts, memories of bygone summer nights flow. Cricket songs touched by the scent of charcoal and pine, preserved over a lifetime. The verses all for who reside in the space. When these words are found, the little ones have made a new friend, and you a new family. We will meet again. May a lifetime of songs fill you. Love, XX. Aww. Target ID family. Aww. La da da! Marshmallows. Yippee! I thought he was about to beat the fuck out of me. I don't know why. Like, I actually thought he was just gonna square up on me. Which is, like, probably insane of me, but I don't know. That's just what I thought. We did it! Developers, Absolute Goob, Ashfire, Conradi, Perd Blant. Voice act. Alright, the moth, I guess. Was there voices? You have music off? Yeah, I don't play games with music because I never know if they're copywritten. It's better to avoid the potential. Chinese. I learned something in Chinese the other day. Oh, I forgot it. Let me look it up. Hold on. I think I saved it. Oh yeah. 你有最美的脚。你有最美的脚。
How to say you have the prettiest?
Wait, don't listen to what he said. Wait, Shuzin, do you speak Chinese? What did I say? And yeah, I'm assuming you speak Chinese based on your name. That's hilarious. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's great. Niyo's, hold on. Hey, shut up. Niyo sui mei de zhao. Am I doing good on the pronunciation of it? What did you say? Stop talking about feet and no. Fuck. It's so ass. Damn it! I'll work on it. It just came up on my feed yesterday and I wanted to remember some Chinese, so I felt, you know, cultured and shit. Guess it didn't work out for me. My fault. I fucked that one up for sure. It just means, well, only those who get it, get it. But he's saying he likes feet? No, I'm indifferent on feet, honestly. Like, if they're gross feet, then, like, yeah, I'd prefer not to have them near me, I guess. But it's like, I'm not one of the people that have, like, a strong feeling towards or against feet. I'm very indifferent. Shoes in, you can't just fucking out me like that, dude. Like, that's what's, I feel like it's interesting, is I feel like once you're just, like, people assume, like, once you don't mind feet, that you're just like, oh, you love feet. But it's like, no. They're just feet. It's like, if they're dirty and gross, do I want them near me? Not really. But, like, is it gonna, like, freak me out and disgust me? It depends what they're dirty with, I guess, if we're gonna be real. You get released from the hospital? W. Alright, 15 or above and I love feet. 7. See? It doesn't do much holding it up, but still. I feel like people are black and white about a lot of, like, things like that. They either, like, have, like, this... Well, maybe not a lot of things, I guess. I feel like feet definitely are one of the more, like, polarizing ones, though. On my feet, they don't bother me, but don't try anything weird. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by the don't try anything weird part? I mean, if, like, someone shoves their, like, their foot in your face or some shit? Yeah, I mean, if someone... Especially that I don't know, I guess, obviously, just shoves their face in my feet. Shoves their feet in my face. Then it's like, whatever. If I'm chill with somebody... I still... Yeah, I don't know. It really just depends on how I feel about you and what you're... Like, it does still matter in some way what your feet look like. If I'm going to keep it a buck. But it's not like it's like, ooh, yippee, feet. What are we talking about? Because I was trying to say you have the prettiest feet in Chinese. And then I got called out by somebody in the chat who actually fucking speaks Mandarin. So it's like, now we're on the topic. This is all your fault. We never would have been on this topic if it wasn't for you. Feet are fine as an appendage, and that's it. Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's just like, for me, if you have weird feet, I prefer if they weren't close to me, but, like, also if, like, let's say hypothetically, where I'm just sitting next to someone, they put their feet up, and they're close to me, that's probably fine. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what the foot looks like. Unless it's, like, absolutely stanky. If it's stanky, get that shit away from me. But really, that's the biggest nut for feet. It's like if they don't stink, then it's like whatever. Depends on how much. Yeah, it also definitely depends on how much I know the person, and like how like. I guess just I mean yeah, pretty much how much I've known how like I feel like I gotta know how clean they are. You know what I mean? I feel like as though Kryoz doesn't like me. I don't even know you. So you're not wrong or right. You know what I mean? Get your feet away from me. See, I don't have like that type of energy. You know what I mean? I mean, I will say men feet just off rip. Like, yeah, keep those things away from me. Maybe that's a little sexist of me, but I don't give a fuck. Why do you hate us? I don't know. Ego, maybe. I really do. I back on feet real quick. I really do feel like that's like the most. That's like really the only like body part that's like so polarizing. Because someone's not gonna be like, "Ew, hands." You know what I mean? It's just interesting to think about. Why are feet so polarizing? Yeah, like no one's gonna be like, "Ew, your knee, yuck." Surely there's hand haters. I guess I don't know. How would you hate hands? Then again, I don't get how like you like truly fully despise feet as I just feel like it's one of those things that's so like case by case. I feel like it's one of the most judged fetishes. Yeah, probably. I think it's because people that are into feet are so like if the feet are like blocked, they're just like, you fucking bitch. Just show us your fucking toes. All they are feet. Come on. You know what I mean? I feel like it's because like the people that are into it are just like kind of crazy. But I wonder how it got that way. Cuz like I feel like hands are a fetish for some people too. But then like when you think about it, it's not like someone sees a hand they don't like and they're like, "Ugh." It usually goes because they're walking on dirty ground. I I mean I kind of usually you got shoes on and shit though. You have like fucked up toes and shit. I mean, yeah, but it's like I still feel like there's a difference of like obviously there's things with like that you just can't avoid. Sometimes your feet get fucked up because like they just grew funny. Still get sweaty. The whole body gets sweaty. They smell, and it's like and that's the thing. If you got stinky feet, that's your own problem. Like that's a whole different issue than like just in general not liking feet. I would understand you're like, oh, I don't like stinky feet. That makes sense. I don't think anyone likes stinky feet. So I don't know. Like I just don't understand how it became so polarizing. I feel like people who like despise feet got some sort of crazy trauma with feet or something. True. Also, Dumble brings up a good spot. I feel like the ass sweats way more than feet. But like everyone, well, not everyone. Does everyone? I feel like everyone loves ass. There's no one out there that's like, ew, ass. Like that's just ridiculous. That just seems ridiculous to me. I guess with feet, I can understand it. But like someone's like, ew, gross, ass. Like I feel like you're not even like that's like that's not even gay. Everyone has an ass. Male ass can go either way. I mean that's fair, but it's not like you're gonna be like, ew, ass. I mean I guess maybe if it's like a gross ass. I'm too ace. Maybe yeah, see, maybe if you're an ace, you're like, ew, ass. I don't care about that. But I feel like even still you put respect on a nice ass when you see a nice ass. Pancake ass? Yeah. I guess that's fair. I think the hot debate is eating ass. Yeah, that was interesting. I feel like that's one of those things where I guess someone might have to out themselves, but like, does it actually feel good to get your ass eaten? I don't know. Because I feel like that's one of those things, it's like not pleasurable for either party necessarily. Bad, was that a response to what I asked? If so, thank you for the input. It was. So it's like, yeah, it's like, how did that even become a thing? Not gonna listen to this while driving? Why? This is great talk. But yeah, how did that even, you want to say something? Say it. We're having a conversation. Let's have this conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. Fun both ways? I guess, I don't know. I guess I just don't, I've never been in that situation. It's not something I could have any input on. That's fair. Because, like, I guess if you were to ask me, would I eat ass? I feel like I couldn't say yes or no. I feel like it would depend so heavily on the person. Overall, I'd probably lean more towards no. But I also still feel like at the same time, feels right. Oh, absolutely not random ass. Hell no. I think everything depends on the person. Yeah. But I feel like for some people it doesn't. Some people are so adamant on like, hell no, I'll never do this. But like for me, I'm not that way. I'm just like, if this person wants this, if I'm with this person and this person wants this, sure. If that's going to make them happy, I'll lock in and I'll do it. Like, I don't think there's anything. The only thing I would say probably that I'm adamant on not doing it, like if you wanna do some shit play, hell no. Fuck no. But that's like the absolute one and only thing that I would never do. No matter who. I don't give a fuck how fine you are. I don't give a fuck. You could have the healthiest fucking diet in the world. Hell no. But that's about that. I literally think that, or throw up. Someone with throw up maybe. Like, I don't know if I'd be like, ooh, throw up in my mouth. Hell no, that's gross. I actually almost gagged thinking about that. Even though I was about to have like it, but I feel like it's like a weird segue that I feel like it shouldn't. I didn't eat throw up. Don't worry. But like it's like those are. I feel like those are the only two. But the thing is, I'm gonna say I would rather get thrown up on than shit on. Thoughts? Am I crazy for that? Was Aru lying? I told her to tell them that I licked her throw up off my fingers. Yeah, I didn't actually do that. You didn't mention piss? I feel like I'd rather be pissed on than thrown up on or shit on. You were concerned? Yeah. No, I didn't actually do that. I did reach into her bag to get stuff out, and I did feel her throw up, but I did not eat her throw up, unfortunately. I said unfortunately, but I mean unfortunately as far as the storytelling. Don't clip that. That came off way wrong. March, please no. I didn't mean unfortunately like that. Fuck. Ah, that came out wrong. Fuck. You dig yourself a hole? I say unfortunately so much, unfortunately. Post that, please don't. Oh well. They can't change it now. I'm gonna be out of context, and that's, you know, sometimes you just have to do that. I'll tag her. Oh, perfect. Thanks. I was worried about that. That's so great that you're gonna do that. But like it goes back to the person said didn't bring up piss. Like that's one of those things where it's like, would I beg the person I'm with to piss on me? No, but they're just like, hey, can I piss on you? I would really have to consider it. I'd have to see what their last pee looks like. I'd have to know how much water they drink. Cause like I don't want to get some dirty stink ass yellow pee. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I would feel sick after it. I feel like I would feel sick halfway through. Why are we talking about this? You brought it up. I know. Shut up. You don't want a golden shower? Not really. It's like I feel like that's one of those things where it depends on the person, but it also depends on like how much water you drink. Because like if you like ate asparagus recently and like have been drinking nothing but beers, I'm good. If you had maybe one beer, but like, you know, like 4 bottles of water, that's a lot of water. 2 bottles of water. I don't want to get yeah, I definitely feel like it would need to be in like a shower so it could just not be on me too long, because I feel like I don't know what dried piss is like, but I would have to imagine it's not the greatest feeling. I don't think I have any crazy things like that where I'm just like, ooh, I really gotta try this. I feel like it's more on like for me, I feel like I don't have any crazy like, are those called, are fetishes and kinks the same thing? Yes, okay. I feel like I don't have either, no? No. No? They need to go hand in hand. Fetish is a body part, kink is an action. I'm looking this up. Hold on. A fetish is a sexual fixation that is often necessary for arousal, while a kink is a sexual preference or interest that enhances pleasure but is not required. Oh. So a kink is something that you like, but a fetish is like what you need. I actually never really knew that. Huh. Does it make sense? Yeah. I guess I always assumed they were similar, but I mean it's quite, I feel like this is quite different. So fetish is like what you fully is. I mean, for what I'm understanding, fetishes are like need, while kinks are things you like. That's interesting. They're both for pleasure, yeah. But fetishes, I mean, from what I'm saying, fetishes. It says here, kinks are things you just like, but fetishes are things like you need in order to actually like get to where you want to go, type shit. So furries would be a kink. I mean, I feel like that's also one of the things is like, I think the same thing that can be a kink for someone is a fetish for someone else. You know what I mean? Maybe? Fetish examples: foot fetish, bondage, fabric, electrostimulation, breath play, food play. Kink examples: BSM, cuckolding, impact play, role play, exhibitionism, voyeurism. Huh. They go hand in hand? Yeah, kinda. I think what's more so is it's just like how I'm breaking this down. A fetish is like something that like you need part of that in order to get to where you want to go. While a kink is like if it happens, that's great. You know what I mean? But like I feel like in the same way, I'm trying to think of one that could overlap. Hold on. Um I don't know. I mean, piss is a good overlap. Is it? I mean, I guess maybe. Oh wait, this helps. Every fetish is a kink. Not every kink is a fetish. See, that makes sense. It's like circles and rectangles. See, that makes sense. Hearing that every fetish is a kink, but then not every kink. See, that makes sense. Yeah, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. So can you have a foot kink? I'm just curious because we were talking about that. See, every time I see foot, it's always tied to fetish. But I just didn't know if that was for alliteration's sake. But I feel like probably not. Does that mean like getting stepped on? I guess. I mean, I feel like you probably could, because I feel like as long as it's not like required. But that's what it sounds like. Fetishes are like a required thing. Like, oh, if I don't have this, I'm not gonna finish. I don't know. I don't know why I never thought about that before. But it makes sense. It unfortunately makes sense. Type shut. True. Get you thinking. It does, a little bit. Oh, trying to pop my bag, but it didn't pop. Ooh. Yum. So I thought fetish was a fixation on a body part. Kinks being done by actions. I don't think that's just fully true. I think it just happens to be that a lot of fetishes are body part based. But it also, like, when you think about it, like saying, I mean, I feel like it does, in my head, it like, hearing like you have like a, just for the sake of no longer talking about feet, like say you have a hand fetish. To be fair, I feel like it's a really easy fetish to like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm thinking of a word, but I can't think of it. I don't know. Hand fetish is wild. Yeah, but they exist. I mean, that's the thing, is there's a fetish for everything. You know what I mean? Got here from Chinese feet. It never would have happened. Keep in mind, this is all Shuzin's fault. So, just so everyone is aware of that. Listen, I feel like this is an important topic of conversation. Yeah, you might be right, Marge. I don't know. But it's like, once again, I guess what I was saying is that like you can have a hand fetish, but like a hand kink sounds weirder. But maybe that's all because we've all had this preconception that hand or kink and fetish are different. But it does make sense. It's like, I feel like you can have like a foot kink, and it's like, see, I feel like whenever I start getting more descriptive, that's what it sounds like. Relax, buddy. I just joined what's going on here. We're just discussing the intricacies of fetish versus kinks. Because they're different. So I guess what it is, let's just go with a broader topic. Some people need to be tied up in order to get off. Other people might just like being tied up, but it's not a requirement. People have inflation fetishes. I mean, would you not say that that's your whole body at that point? If you're being inflated, your whole body's being inflated, which is like kind of a body. It's like all the body parts. I mean, like pool toys? Huh? What do you mean by pool toys? What does that mean? Inflatables? People see a pool toy and they're like, fuck, I'm rock hard right now. Is that a... I feel like I wish I didn't look this up. Yeah, I looked it up and it's all about like body inflation though. I didn't even know that was a thing. Huh. I feel like I'm a pretty vanilla guy overall. Hearing that people get turned on by pool toys, I definitely feel like I'm very vanilla. Sitting on a balloon till it pops. I feel like that wouldn't do much for me. Inflation fetishes aren't even that wild. It's just like the thought of people seeing pool toys and they're just like, fuck. Yeah, it's just that's the part that's throwing me off. I don't know. That's what I'm just like realizing. It's like maybe I'm boring. Can't forget about white bread guy. I don't even know if I want to know what this is. The only bread I have a fetish for is that shit that they got in Japan. That fucking milk bread or whatever the hell that's just called. That shit's delicious. Cause like I'm one of the people that I'll try a lot, but I don't know. It's not a requirement. I feel like it's more so for like my partner than for me. Type shit. But maybe that's just me. Guy who would commission a shit ton of artists to draw white ladies buying shitloads of white bread in grocery stores. How do you even get off on that at all? That's got to be a trauma response or something, dude. Like it's got to be. There's got to be trauma in there somewhere. What about those guys that let people walk all over them in NYC? Huh? Went on way too long to be a bit? Maybe. I don't know. There's... Like, I know there's been some crazy shit, but you guys are telling me even crazier shit that I didn't even realize people... Like, some of these sounds like things you can't even get off on. Like a pool toy or... I don't know. I feel like some kinks and or fetishes, they gotta come from trauma. I don't know about all of them, but I feel like some of them gotta. We're doing Tyler's for 4th of July. I don't know. Not too sure. Like, I feel like if someone's just like... I'm trying to think of like a somewhat outlandish one. I can't really think of any right now. We'll just go with a classic. Like, I feel like if someone's into like being peed on, I don't know. I don't think that necessarily comes from trauma. I think they're just a little wacky. I think if someone gets off on white women buying a shit ton of bread, probably. Xenophil. I don't even know what that is. Now you're making me Google more shit. Of foreign people? I just hate white bitches. I'm just kidding. Monsters is monsters? Oh, it said foreign when I looked it up. guess it means different things depending on the context. Hypnotism and compression fetishes? I don't know. I guess maybe I had a decent childhood because I don't know if I don't know if I got anything crazy. Like, I'm trying to think of like the craziest thing I can think of. See, once again, I don't know if any of them would be fetishes. You know what I mean? I feel like if anything, they're like kinks. Are you born with kinks? You gain it somehow? I feel like you gain them. I feel like you like something happens, you realize like, oh, I like that. Hold on. You also never know if you're into something if you don't try it. Yeah, but I feel like some things you're just like, I want to try that. Well, other things, I mean, yeah, I guess that's a fair point. But it's just like, I guess I don't have a lot of things. I'm just like, oh, I really got to try that. You know what I mean? Did we explain the difference between kink and fetish? Yeah, fetish is something that's like required for arousal, and kink is something that you'll just, if it happens, it's like a nice addition. But all fetishes are kinks, but not all kinks are fetishes, which is also something to keep in mind. Which does make sense. Amen. Yeah. That's how I'm feeling too right now. We don't have to have a fetish to get aroused. We don't have to have one. But if you do have a fetish, then it helps a lot. I think that's one that might be like a, you know, a scale of something. Where it's like, yeah, maybe you'll get aroused without it, but like the fetish is gonna be how you get to the end goal. Or it'll happen a lot quicker, you know? That's how I'm hearing it. Oh, call me Rick. Thanks for the Prime sub, by the way. It was 40 minutes ago, but I just now saw it. My fault. I don't know if I said it already. Some people get so fixated they can't get off without them. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, it's a scale. Like swingers? Sure. I think at that point, you just get a fetish for, like, cheating on your wife or something. But, like, she's chill with it or something. So I feel like shibari would be more of a kink than a fetish. But I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's still one of those things where it's just like, I feel like it can become a kink, but eventually, if like if it's required, then it becomes a fetish. I don't know. All I know is that this conversation has told me that I'm a pretty plain feller. No, yeah, we're aware, Nikki. Don't worry. Rose vanilla? Yeah, I'm like vanilla with a little bit of sprinkles on it. But I mean, it's like I was saying, it's like there's a lot of things like, depending on what my partner wanted, I would try it. But like, if they never brought anything up, I mean, I guess maybe eventually I'd be like, this is getting boring. But I feel like I'm not that type of person either. I don't know. As long as there's love there, I don't care. Anyways, good stream. You missed it? There's a VOD, don't worry. Let's listen to my song again. W stream? Yep, only one bad clip, so could be worse. Why did I clip the I hate white women? That would be a bad clip. I just hate white people. Amen. Did you know I have noticed? I downloaded Hinge recently, and there's so many like white girls with blonde hair near me. I'm just like, damn, where's the variety? Hinge? Is that a good one? I was just the top rated one, so I downloaded it. Did you move to Utah? No. Midwest moment. Should I try something else? Should I download Tinder? That's the Midwest special, is it? See, I'm not, you guys are like saying all this shit. I didn't even know about it though. Like most dating apps are ass. I mean, yeah, that's eventually what I found out. It's like I scroll through it, I'm just like, okay. I've only come across one person with a MAGA hat though. I was like, yeah, you're not the one. I feel like you don't see a lot of women with MAGA hats, so it kind of threw me off. Try grinder. Yeah, that'll help. It is Pride Month, you know. I guess during Pride Month I should lean into it a little bit. Fuck Bumble. Tinder's good if you're not looking for just hookups. Not really. Grinder would have less white blonde girls. True. You're not wrong. Is Grindr for only men, or do women hook up on there too? Is it like a either a woman or a man dating app, but gay? Every time I try to talk to you, I end up getting ghosted after telling them I don't want to hook up. There was one person I was talking to on there and I just stopped. There's no reason. I just stopped messaging them. And I feel bad about it. Now it feels like it's too much time has passed for me to message them back. So I'm just like, well. That was like a week ago. And I just haven't really checked it since. They had no you're part of the problem. There was nothing wrong with it. It's not like there was like any hookup talk. We were just talking about her cat, and then I just stopped messaging because I stopped opening the app because it wasn't at the forefront of my head. But yeah, I don't like dating apps. I'd rather, if I meet someone in person, it's like I feel like I just get to know them way fucking quicker. It's way easier. I don't know. Yeah, bars. Bars is pretty much just a fucking dating app in person. People just go there for hookups. This is my favorite part of the song right here. Hell yeah, dude. What is this song? This is one I made. What if I bring... Hold up, let me cook. You know what? Let's fuck around on FL for a little bit before I hop off. I don't know what open track I have. I'll put a train skate. Where's the train skate? Here's a train skate. Bring it down, automation. Bring it up here. What if I do? Interesting, interesting. Let's see what it feels like for longer periods. Interesting. I just like this part. Let me turn it up. risers. I need to find a riser. I don't know where to find a riser easily though. These are risers. Maybe this would be fun to put in. Where'd that one go? I lost it. Let's see what happens. BPM's off. Bass is really loud here. Shit! Sounds like dog shit! Built up? Wait. Get hyper. It'd only work if it went like crazy. I mean, I could. What if I found a crazier drum break? Just fucking layered drum breaks, dude. Hold up, it's cooking. All right. Whoops. How'd everyone like that? I'll work on it more later. That's pretty much how I work on songs. Put a little bit in, then I'm done. Good song, thank you. Honestly, for a while on that song, I felt like I was like, this shit sucks. But then I made it so it didn't suck. The more I listen, the more I like. Yeah, that's the issue with like a lot of my songs is like I spam listen to them and then I'm just like, oh, I like it so much. I want it to keep going. I don't want it to end. And then I end up making a 30-minute song. Which usually isn't the best thing. All right. Well, I probably should hop off here soon. Yeah, because I have got to fucking. I got to edit. That's what I was trying to go for. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you chilling. Appreciate all the subs, the bits, the gifted subs. I probably should shower. Okay, 18 or above, I shower. It's a 6. I'm out for another day. Okay, how about this? 10 or above, I think of a new fetish. Uh-oh, it fell on the ground. Does that still count? Is that legal or no? If it falls on the ground, is that legal? It is? Fuck, it's 14. I gotta think of something. Shit. Wait, 2 or below and I kill myself. That's actually incredibly close to it too. That was really close. 18, if 15 or higher, and I find the love of my life. It's a 5. It's cooked for me. GG's. Rolling a 3, and none of these dice rolls actually count. I got the 15 though. Wait, the dice rolls are 1 too late. It fell on the ground. It fucking vanished. Where the fuck? Where the fuck did that just... The dice is never real? The fuck? There it is. I'm back. You guys see my tramp stamp? Oh shit, I dropped it. Alright guys, give me something to roll for real quick. Dust your monitors. Done. Any stream 1 through 20. How about if I roll an exactly 13, I'll stream tomorrow. Ooh, 16. Close. If I roll a 10 or higher, I'll stream within the month. 13. Wait. Dude, I'm telling you, I feel like this dice is 1 delayed or something. Like, I don't know. If I roll an exact 7, I'm gay for the whole month of June. 18. Not even close, dude. The fuck you mean 1 delayed? It's like the next roll is what it is previously. Because watch. I'll say like, oh, 10 or higher I drink. And that's going to be 7. Okay, it was 19. Give me something to roll for. Okay, any number, and Nikki's a fucking freak. Yep. Perfect. It was an 8, so. When you guys roll, do you guys ever just roll a d20 for like life decisions? It's honestly the worst fucking thing ever for your mental. Don't do it. See, I feel like if it's like, oh, should I do this? And then you roll, then it's like, okay, that makes sense. But it's so fun. It's horrible for the mental. Because I'll roll be like, oh, I guess it depends on what you ask it. Sometimes I get like really in my head. I'm just like, do I even have any friends? 10 or higher. And then it rolls a 2. I'm just like, you know what I mean? And it's like, that last dice roll didn't count if this is 10 or higher still. And then it's like another low-ass number. I'm just like... I'm like, okay, the dice is telling me the truth. 15. And then it lands on a 15. I'm just like, son of a bitch, dude. I should get into tarot. That way I could just be like, oh, okay. Oh, Vat, I might get another tarot reading just to see what's popping. See what's going on in my life. Get his ass a weighted dice. True. I need to always get a fucking 20. I'm just going to get a D20, but every side is a 20. Type shit. I wish I remembered the last tarot reading you did. I can't remember. I feel like some of it was good. It was a lot. And then I try to break down everything. I'm like, this makes sense. Never added terror all the mons. All right, you guys, if it's gonna be that much, it's gonna have to. I feel like you can't do that for free. Your notes are probably there. Oh, in the Discord, yeah, probably. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching the stream. Follow the stream if you're not already. I don't know why you wouldn't be, and you're still here. I guess I feel like my issue with Terra's is like, how do I pull? What do I decide to pull? Because if I could, I'll just go through and be like, this one seems pretty. This one is nice. You know what I mean? I don't decide to let them fall out. You know what? I'm gonna order a tarot card deck. I'm just gonna start reading my own tarot. Fuck it. Damn, why are these so pricey, bro? They be scamming y'all witches. Holy. The fuck? $20? Ugh. Oh, I like the art on these though. This art looks cool. I'll add it to cart. I'll buy it later. So I added the tarot cards, and it's like, check out these novelty things, and it's like it's a stress toy, but it's a stick of butter. And I don't know why that seems so funny to me. Guys, thank you for watching the stream. For real, I will probably be back in 9 days, according to my D20. Hopefully sooner than then. If I don't, what is today even? Wednesday? I might try to stream tomorrow, but no promises. If I do stream, then I'll be live. And if I don't stream, I won't be live. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, whenever that may be. I do have to go edit a video. New video on Kryoz tomorrow. It's going to be a gambling with your friends video. Yep. And other than that, dude, I just went to YouTube. It's crazy how big this fucking Lego case is getting. I remember when I first saw Recklessman upload that, I'm like, oh, cool. And now I see it everywhere. It's insane. All right, but thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. And 10 or higher. And